the longest time, my introduction to you was through Avocado Toast.
Yes.
And I knew Avocado Toast before I knew you, but because it popped up on my feed, and I'm like, this is super cool. I love the cover, by the way. Whatever, we'll get into it. Avocado Toast.
Oh my goodness. Yep, there it is.
She's on the edge of thought. So you,
and that's our designated yogi there, right?
Oh my God, beautiful.
Leo.
I trust him with my thoughts.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. So look at that. Hold up. Can you go back to that, please? Who's that like by? Yeah, I talk that talk and I walk that walk.
Oh yeah.
I'm out here. So you are the creator, chief editor, you gave birth to this, essentially,
yes.
right? This is your passion project. This is your, how would you describe Avocado Toast to you?
Well, it started off as, I actually wanted to do a podcast.
Way.
I know. Actually, the better way to begin was I wrote a book, which I'm still trying to get published. And I kind of, I wanted to do, like an interview series of kind of the types of people I featured in the book.
Sure.
And turn that into a podcast. And the book had a lot of elements of sort of philosophy in it. So I thought that would be interesting to apply it to real life and some sort of like podcast thought experiment
conversation.
Interview.
Yeah, totally.
And then I started to kind of do the interviews, and I went to Squamish to interview a friend of mine who is, she lives as like a digital nomad.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Azalea.
Can we pull her up? I don't know.
I don't know what
You don't know?
What her Instagram is, actually.
Come on, gotta know this off the top.
I know. I don't know what it is off the top
no pressure
of my
for
head.
you. No pressure for you. But
yeah, so she is a like a designer, and she builds websites, and she does a bunch of other stuff, but she has been sort of I guess living in trade situations. Like, okay, you need somebody to house sit your home in the beautiful Squamish. Sure, I'll do that.
Gotcha.
And like having her business thrive from just living a nomad life, but she does all of her work is digitally based, so it's kind of interesting.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I felt like, okay, I have to interview her 100%. And I just kind of took off, went to Squamish, interviewed her, and then I spent the weekend with her. And I came home, and I had a bunch of work that I was super behind on. And I was sitting in a coffee shop, and I'm working on all the work. And I had my headphones on, and I kind of look out into the distance, and there's like this barista and this guy kind of like arguing. And I took my headphones off. And the guy was arguing about avocado toast.
Typical Vancouver, right?
Yeah, exactly. Claiming that like the avocado toast was the same price as his wage. He made minimum wage, and he was like, "So I'm supposed to spend like an hour's pay on avocado toast
before taxes."
Yes. And then he ended up buying the toast still, and I'm there eating my avocado toast, and I was kind of like, oh my goodness, that's such a great representation of sort of the modern creative struggle. Kind of like everybody trying to maintain these certain aesthetics to have this visual representation of, oh, like I am the person who sits in the minimalistic cafe and eats the avocado toast.
That's $12.
And like, that's $12 when maybe that's not like the best financial decision, or maybe they could do without the avocado toast, but
or you could make the avocado toast,
or they could make it at home. Yeah, exactly. So I started thinking about that, and that name just stuck with me.
Oh,
it was
perfect.
like Avocado Toast Post, and then I kind of thought, oh, maybe it's too much of like a gimmick, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. And
No, it's totally
Yeah.
catchy, and it's the easiest thing to remember. Like,
I think so.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. This is a little embarrassing, but for the longest time, Kevin Wong, who produces this podcast and is the co-founder of Self-Fired, for the listeners, Kevin Wong and we would always talk about creatives in the space and what the different people are doing and how they're marketing it and what their branding and the tone of voice is. And I'm like, oh man, I like what that avocado thing is over there. Da, da, da. And I was like, man, we should get that person on. And they'll be like, who's that person? And I'll be like, Avocado Toast Girl. And you were Avocado Toast Girl.
That's
like
so funny.
2 months. He's probably mad at me for saying this on camera, but honestly,
no, I believe it. I've had a few people come up to me on the street and be like, avocado toast.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. And and so I couldn't get that out of my head for the longest time. And even we have like workflows and through for the podcast and like through different software management companies and whatnot, and we'll have like our guests and our whole workflow, and it was just like avocado toast interview pending, avocado toast interview, avocado toast girl here, avocado toast girl. And then we had you down.
Oh my goodness,
we really wanted to fit you in, and we were like, let's do avocado toast on Monday night. And I was like, why would we get breakfast in the morning? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And like, no, avocado toast girl. I'm like, avocado toast girl. Perfect. Yes.
I love it.
So you chose a damn good name.
Oh, thank you.
A damn good name. I love that type of aesthetic too. You back home, I'm from the Gulf Islands, Vancouver Island, if you will, right? We have this thing called CV Collective, which is just Comox Valley Collective essentially, and it's just a compilation of like breweries and skiing and snowboarding, photography, and it's just like a collection of whatever the most badass 3 levels underneath the surface is of the Comox Valley. And I was just like,
amazing.
Wow, that's so cool. And the narrative and the writing was very like authentic and local and had a different perspective. And for the longest time, I was like, man, like Vancouver doesn't have a voice. And so to see these little, and you're part of a bigger movement in my opinion, of these little seedlings coming up and being like, because just the name and your style of writing, even how you organize things on a page and you organize digitally is the essence of what I think Vancouver's creative digital voice could be. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness, amazing. Thank you.
I think and I love it because it plays on I make fun of Vancouver for being entitled and bougie.
Oh yeah, no, the
right?
name itself is like almost like a mock of this
perfect.
Like this aesthetic and this whole like obsession with modern minimalism, which is like, I think it's beautiful. It's not for me. I'm not a minimalist by any means.
Yeah. Where's Tyler?
Yeah,
Tyler's ears are perking out somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it was a little bit of a mock of where things are at for creatives, for sure. It wasn't. I don't like to take myself seriously. I don't like to take, like, I take certain things in life very seriously, but
what do you take seriously in life?
Work ethic.
Yes. Great answer. That's
all about the hustle.
That's an interview answer. Great job.
Thank you.
No, totally. What else? All right, you know what? What else did you want that name to embody other than like the modern creative direction and the play on words? Like, if you're painting a picture in a consumer's mind, what space, this is a difficult question, I know, but I do want to dive into it. When I think of a piece of avocado toast, literally with the seeds and with the sliced tomato, what positioning are you trying to put your publication in? What emotions are you trying to spark? What space are you trying to occupy with that name and with that direction versus like Exclaim Mag or versus a Curiosity Vancouver? Like those occupy different spaces in my mind.
Right.
What space does Avocado Toast occupy in my mind?
So we're a lifestyle magazine, but our focus is a little bit different. actually isn't another magazine on the North American market with this exact focus, which I think is going to help us do really well. Our focus is on modern anthropology. So what that means is we're sort of immersing ourselves in many different cultures. So generally with a lifestyle magazine, you'll have like blanketed branding where it's like, okay, we think that to be cool or to be trendy, you need to be dressing this way, you need to be eating these things, you need to be reading these books, you need to like, it's giving you this sort of one-size-fits-all lifestyle, whereas we're more of a celebration of many different lifestyles and many different cultures, and just like a representation of, at least this is what we're hoping to be, representation of many different people.
I giggle because that's just so politically correct. It's the most super politically correct.
I'm trying.
Not that it's wrong. Like, it's totally right.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, this is our cover feature, Corpsey. Ken Lee, he is originally from Washington.
This is Ken?
Yeah, this is Ken. He lived in Vancouver for a while, went to Emily Carr for a while, ended up in California. And yeah, he's an artist. He makes some super, super sick streetwear.
I can see that.
The jackets, and he does bags too. His big thing is sort of reclaiming clothes. So he'll take like things like luxury brands like Louis Vuitton and stuff and just like spray paint over them and like recreate things. What kind of got him to the level that he's at now is Jaden Smith has been rocking his stuff. So if you look,
Jaden Smith,
as
in Will Smith's son.
As in Will Smith's son. Yeah.
What?
He
What?
I guess
What?
Yeah, Corpsey was at a show.
What'd you call an icon living?
For real? Yeah, for real. Corpsey was at a show and he's wearing the jacket, and Jaden's kind of like checking him out wearing this jacket and was like eyeing the jacket. So we took it off, gave it to him, and then next thing you know, in like the Idols remix video, that's Corpsey's jacket.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
So he's definitely like, I had the opportunity to put Jaden Smith on the cover for the first issue, but I felt like...
Who's your marketing manager?
Me.
Smack some sense into that girl. Okay, yeah. I had the opportunity to put the biggest...
I really wanted to start it just sort of showing where our ethics are coming from and where we want to be formulating like the bones of the magazine, whereas I think the story of Ken is more important than the story of Jaden in terms of what kind of publicity we want to be putting out. No disrespect to Jaden Smith. I think he's doing really great, but I think just the story of Ken got himself out of being a homeless youth to making clothes and art for like Hollywood elite. I think that's...
Well, you're trying to say that Jaden Smith didn't have incredible hardship. Holy God. He is a trailblazer. From nothing. Truly from nothing. Yeah, shout out Will. That's super freaking admirable of you, and hopefully 20, 30 years down the line, you know, you can lean on that.
Yeah, definitely.
It's you know, from a legacy standpoint, and when this thing does get to a global level,
totally.
you can say, you know what, issue number 1, we decided to take a direction, and we're still there. I mean, that speaks volume. It's
and I don't think that's something that especially now with publications, with how hard it is to make it as a publication, I think it's just super easy for someone to be like, okay, well, Jaden Smith's trending right now. Put him on the cover, and
totally.
And then we're going to sell copies. But then it's like, okay, do you want to be like a publication with content that is expanding people's mind, or do you want to be an ad?
Do you want to be People's Mag, or what do you want to be?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the prototype for you guys moving forward? Like, is there I know that you're going to say you're trailblazing, and I don't actually deny that you are, but there had to be some sources of inspiration or things that you wanted to take from in terms of other publications, other magazines.
I would say, like, there's definitely aesthetic that I've pulled from, like Kinfolk. I've always loved their aesthetic. I wouldn't say their content is reflective of what we have in the magazine. There's really no, like, when you think of other lifestyle magazines, there's nothing that compares to it. Like, that's why I stuck with it, because trying to, I have a bit of business schooling, and I know when you approach investors, either if you come to them with a bunch of other businesses, or in this case you've that have done really well, that are like your project or whatever you're trying to put forth, then they kind of either you're going to do really well, or you're going to not do so well, because why would, like, you have to stand out in some way.
Yeah.
So I think it's lending to us being able to get a lot of financial help, which is great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very early. When did this, when was the inception? First published date?
Well, we first got together in April, and then we actually launched in October.
Okay, who's we?
We would be, well, first it was me and our managing editor, Joey Lopez.
I don't know who Joey is, but that's a famous person name.
Oh, he is.
For sure.
Big time.
Is he?
He's going to be, definitely.
Okay.
No, I believe it.
Joey Lopez, that's on Jimmy Kimmel Live in a year, sure.
Yeah, so he works in the film industry, and he does indie videos with his film company called Entertainment Forever Film.
Badass.
Yeah, no, they're super wicked. They've done a lot of music videos for artists like Kim Mortal, I don't know, like BB No Money.
No idea, but
Solo
you know what? I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And then we kind of, I said to him, oh, I have this idea. I really want to start this publication. He was a writer. He went to school for writing and film particularly. And I asked him to go in on it with me. And he was very into it from the beginning. He's like, yeah, this is a great idea. And then slowly we kind of formed different sections. And now we have a team. We just had a meeting yesterday, actually. And we were missing 3 people. And our team was 11.
Wow.
So it's grown quite fast. And now the different sections are, we have a fashion editor, holistic health, the Leo, who we just saw on the screen a little while ago. Right. Yeah. He's our designated yogi. And then we have a design section. Best. I know, right? Yeah. Well, it's so Vancouver.
Yeah, so Vancouver.
Yeah, the design section for interior design.
Do you have a designated barista? Because that was probably needed. No?
We don't, but I'm
pretty Vancouver.
I know. I'm managing all of the food section, because what I went to school for was culinary. I was a chef for a while, so that's something that I'd like to incorporate my actual schooling into.
Oh, you're crazy. That's what you're telling me. Chefs are bonkers. Listen.
Just a little bit.
Oh, craziest people you know. Don't date chefs. I'm telling you. Listen, I worked in a couple kitchens, man. Oh my gosh, the male chefs were like flaring constantly, like it just anything. But that's not what you're worried about. You're worried about the female chefs, because the female chefs will get you in a different type of way. They'll corner you, right? You're like, I came up as a dishwasher to a food prep to a line cook to a sous chef, and man, I'm doing some quick julienne in the corner, and they'll come up to you and say, hey, what the fuck happened with that pork roast the other day, huh? I know it went out this one way. And they'll get you in this weird little spot. And I'm so scared to death. Death. Shout out Vanessa. She's the cook. She's the chef I'm referring to. But anyways, that's a little bit of crazy in you. It's a good thing though. I like it. Creative.
I feel like I maybe I get like a little bit of a pass because I was a pastry chef. So I was dealing with.
Oh, you're a pastry chef?
Yeah, I
completely disregard everything I just said. Disregard everything I just said.
I did regular savory stuff for a little bit, but pastry was my main.
You're a
thing.
sweetheart.
But
Totally
I
different.
had to deal with crazy brides all the time.
Pastry chefs are the sweetest humans on. Guys, I'm so sorry. Kev, we're editing that one out. Pastry chefs are so sweet.
It was, a lot of wedding cakes, a lot of...
Oh, love is in the air.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were a few cakes I made for women maybe like a couple years after when they got divorced, but there were only a couple.
Yikes.
I know.
Yikes. It's hard to be married in 2019.
Definitely.
It's hard to be married, period. I wouldn't know, but the divorce rate is high.
It is, definitely.
I do know that. Sorry, I just want to backtrack here. We never got an answer on the frozen deserts. Oh, she got an answer. She just didn't want to interject. I'm sorry. I'm so curious. I love it. Yeah, that's of large concern to me. I'm so sorry. I called you out to be a crazy chef.
I definitely dealt with a very intense woman chef for a while. I had a carrot thrown at my face.
Oh my gosh, I had onions thrown at me.
Yeah.
Onions
and I was
hurt.
like, I think I'm just gonna be a pastry chef.
Oh my gosh, I had this. Oh, here we go. That's a tundra.
What?
That's a tundra.
What is a polar desert?
Totally different. Oh, a polar desert. I want to say desert every time. Is defined as a region with mean temperature during the warmest months less than 10 degrees Celsius and annual precipitation of no more than 250 millimeters.
I knew it was a thing.
Wow, that looks super badass. That looks like a place Chasing Sunrise would go. Is that you right there, Bree? Yeah, that's you right there. This is your blog, isn't it? You plugging your own shit on the podcast. God damn it. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh my God, chefs. Sorry, I gotta go on this. Dude, okay, I had an onion thrown at me one time. Mm-hmm. So terrible. Okay, whatever. This one time, I worked at this lodge called Seabreeze Lodge on Hornby because from when I was like 12. Sorry, Jeff. I'm gonna listen. The labor award's off you for that one. Now I was a big 12-year-old, and until I was like 19, 20, and just through the summers and the shoulder seasons when I wasn't in school. And we had this one chef this one time that just came from Thailand. Spent a year in Thailand. He wanted to implement a Thai night. We're like, awesome. And he's like, Joss, listen. The most important thing on this whole thing is the rice. Right? Like the rice is the base for everything. We need that to be fine. If the rice doesn't go, nothing else goes. We can fuck up one other dish, but if the rice doesn't go, we're fucked. So listen, this is the rice. Here's the ratios. It's rice. Don't fuck it up. And I'm like, dude, it's rice. Like 1 to 2. Like relax. He's like, yes, 1 to 2. Do you know rice? Yes, I know rice. Okay, I'll relax. It's 150, 200 people. Yes, okay, I got it. Relax. So then it comes time, and the rice is cooking slow. It's not coming to the top. It's real wet. It's real moist. I'm stirring. I'm like, chef, I don't know what's going on. Male chef, have you? So I knew I wasn't, it was going to be okay. And I'm stirring this rice. And it's not there. All of a sudden, it's 6:30 at service. We need this to start building the plates. And it's not there. He flips out, throws the rice pot. And so we flip it. So we'll flip the rice, right, and air it out to get it fluffy and all that stuff. We flip it, it just like porridge, and I'm like, fuck. Manager's right there. What's it called? Oh my God, the guy that expedites the expo, but it's called something else. On the line that runs the plates, but whatever. You know what I'm saying?
My knowledge of line stuff is not.
I should know this.
Very.
We'll call him an expo.
Okay.
And he's looking there. He's also the manager of the place, and he's like, everyone's looking at me. The waitress is looking at me like, Josh, you fucked this. And he's a new chef, and he's trying to like make his way at the establishment. Like, wow, Josh, you're trying to fuck me here because I'm new. And
was he a sous chef? No.
No. He was a head chef. We just hired him. And I had been there for a long time. He's like, you're mad that you're not in this situation. I'm like, man, I don't want to be a head chef. Get the fuck out of here. But he flips out, throws the rice pot, and we almost get into this like a physical altercation. Like he comes at me in a corner. He's like furious because the whole service is done now, right? Mm-hmm. Essentially, you can't do anything.
Right.
And So the manager goes out, he buys shots for everybody, and it's like he kind of like finessed it into like it's an anniversary, and he did a speech, and then we got another 30 minutes, we cooked the rice, but he wouldn't talk to me for days, weeks, almost a month, I swear. And you prep throughout the day, you're with this guy every day, 5-6 days a week, would not talk to me. And finally, he goes back and he finds the wrapper for that rice, and he's like, Joss, oh my God, it's 1 to like 1.5 because it's special Thai rice. I'm so sorry. I almost lost my job, and he held that grudge for so long. This is like 3 weeks after the fact.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, they're fucking crazy. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I did 5 years time in that.
5 years time?
Yes.
I like how you say it like it's like a prison sentence. Yeah, man. I did 5 at the spot down the corner. No protective custody or nothing. Where'd you go? What restaurant?
Well, I went to culinary school at the Arts Institute, and then I did a I did the business program and culinary at the same time. Okay. And then I worked at like quite a few different places. There used to be this little vegan bakery in Kitts called Edible Flowers. It doesn't exist anymore. That was like the main place I did wedding cakes, and then I did them on my own for a while.
Sweet.
And I worked with some pretty amazing chefs, like Chef Karen, who just opened Soil on Main Street. Okay. And
I love these names.
Yeah, she used to be the head chef at oh my goodness, it's slipping my mind. I worked there too. This is terrible. At Gray's. Gray's was a vegan restaurant on Fraser Street years ago when it wasn't like a super trendy thing to be plant-based.
Gray's is in cows, not 50 Shades.
No, yeah.
Big
Gray's
difference.
is in cows, not 50 Shades.
Baby, let's go to Gray's tonight. You dig?
Oh, man. Yeah, she owns a vegan cheese company as well. You would not know that it's vegan. It's crazy.
How do you make vegan cheese?
Cultured cashews and cultured different kinds of coconut.
Doesn't make any sense.
She's like a food scientist. It's crazy.
All right. I'll take it. I'll take it. So you took that. So you're running the culinary section of Avocado Toast now.
Definitely. Yeah. I have like quite a few connections in the industry.
I'm sure you do.
Still, so
what is when I'm trying to give listeners a little bit of context here. Like, first off, where can we find the magazine?
So you can order on our website.
Yes.
And we will be in 5 different stores locally.
Okay.
And then hopefully a couple in Toronto and a couple of in Montreal for our next issue.
Badass. I love it. I love physicals. I don't know why I do. There's something about it, like just feeling it, reading it, having it, like underneath the coffee table. There's something
There's a need for like tangible goods now.
I want to pick things up.
Yeah, definitely.
I like swiping is cool, but save that for Tinder. So like it's just different. It's a different thing. I don't want to swipe magazines. So how do you are now in a world that's ultra competitive in terms of publications, blogs, media companies, the list goes on and on and on. You're also in a world of disappearing physical assets.
Yes.
Things are going online. Things are digital. You are kind of taking a brick and mortar approach to your business. A lot of publications are just online, or they'll just be newsletters, or it's all digital.
Definitely.
Right? They won't actually make physical print. How do you expect to, make a profitable business model off of physical print? And your prints are not, let me get this out of the way for someone who hasn't picked up a piece or an actual mag. They're not shit. They're not glossy bullshit.
No,
they're high quality. That must cost you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I want it to be more like a book than like a magazine that you would see in the checkout. I think we actually went into print at a really good time. Just because with the decline of Facebook, Facebook's not very popular anymore.
True.
And that was our main source of sharing articles other than Twitter. So because that is declining and Facebook stocks are going down and everything, it's sort of reshaped online articles. So now as a writer, I do freelance stuff as well. As a writer, you get paid less now to do online articles than you do in print.
Wow.
So I think that, to me, like, coming at it from a writer's perspective, I kind of saw that shift happen in, like, the past year. Whereas before, you would get paid more for online stuff. And then I think also when you look at the music industry, records are becoming popular again.
Totally.
And I think people just want to have some sort of tangible proof of what they bought, just because everything's so disposable.
Digital and yeah. Still though, your price point right here is $17.50, so like essentially $20, right?
Which is significantly lower than most print. So most print of our size would actually be going anywhere from $30 to $45.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's atrocious.
So we're actually like quite
underpriced.
Yeah.
You're totally underpriced.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What? Where have I been? Sorry.
The reason why we can afford to do it though is because we're doing everything ourselves. So instead of using a distribution company, instead of using like having an outsourced PR company and all these things, since we do it all in-house, we don't have that big of an overhead.
Cost, yeah.
And we're shipping directly from printers right to people's homes.
Wow. So you're vertically integrated, which, you know,
totally, you
can then charge what you charge and not lose on it. Who the hell is selling a $40 magazine? I feel so ignorant now.
It's a thing for sure. A lot of fashion
magazines,
definitely. Like things that, I mean, this would be like a higher caliber, obviously, than like, I don't want to say Vogue isn't high caliber because I think it's.
Hey man, it's a listen, podcast ruling 101. It's a free for all.
Yeah,
it's a free for all. You can say anybody can get it.
Well, I would say like Vogue in terms of publications and quality would be more of at an entry level, and there's a lot of other like higher caliber boutique magazines that would be more at the $40-$45 range.
Wild. Okay. Moving on.
And again, like these end up being more like a coffee table piece because it's like they're a beautiful book. It's something that is meant to maybe go in a bookshelf or be displayed for like the visual aesthetic as well as the content. Okay,
so referencing back to the Comox Valley Collective magazine because that's just my only point of reference because this is not, you know, I'm a dumbass, but that's ignorant. And their model is they will sell to brick and mortar spots for $1 a magazine.
Oh, amazing.
$1 mag. They are vertically integrated as well, so they make it all at, I'm assuming that's their cost. I have no idea. I just know that they print and they're made in the Comox Valley, so that's why I'm assuming they're vertically integrated. I could be full of shit. I don't think you can Google that one though. And their business model is they'll mail it to you for $1, and I think they'll even pay for shipping. Might be full of shit on that one too.
Wow, okay.
But it's just like they just want to get it out there.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
So that's one business model. What was your business model from a revenue standpoint? How are you going to make money on this thing?
So I won't share our exact like everything, but we're in terms of like how we're doing with like what we're making with sales, we're doing very well.
Sure.
Like
Give me the numbers. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not, that part isn't of concern, especially because we have a huge.
It's not of concern, Josh. No,
yeah. not of concern for you, but like for us, just because the fashion ads for a double page ad can run anywhere from like $10,000 to $75,000 for a double page spread. Okay. I mean, obviously, like that would.
What?
Yeah, no. The fashion industry is huge. Advertisement is huge. And there's a lot of. I mean, we're not at that range for sure, but we're still able to supplement
Yeah.
pretty much all of our, like, we've already broken even as a magazine.
Wow.
And we haven't been around for a year.
I didn't want to ask that pointed question, as in like how much money did you lose off the back, but like
I was really scared.
don't worry about it.
It's like looking at my savings and like, oh God, what did I do?
Yikes.
No, we broke even, which was
Wow.
really nice.
That's super
I was
impressive.
not expecting that. I think also having my business background be in food generally, in that industry, like you're probably gonna fail. Like
95%.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that having that business knowledge really helped me with something like this, because it's like way easier to do well.
How the hell did you how did you break even? That's crazy to me.
Ads,
lowering overhead,
promises for campaigns, for like offering like lower advertisement for future issues, and having that supplement the first few issues.
What is this, Brie? Just a countdown. Whatever. Don't worry about it. I like it. I thought you had a point to make. Like, Josh, you've been talking about stupid shit for 5 minutes now. Can you please get on to something? Don't worry, I got you, Brie. So what do you look for now in a writer or a contributor or a staff member that's really putting in the content towards your publication? Like, anyone can write. Very few people can write well. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. As well as Avocado Toast, I edit for BeatRoute Magazine, which is a fairly recent thing, but I think that has taught me a lot about writing, more so than just me writing, editing other people's work. There's a lot of people interested in writing, but I would say it is definitely really hard to find people who have a unique voice, and unique perspective on things. I think the easiest way is to find people who are just doing cool things and helping them learn how to write. Like, if somebody has the drive and they're doing interesting things and they have an interesting perspective, I feel like generally that person has a good chance of becoming a good writer.
Ooh, so vague. Yeah.
No, I know it's weird. I feel like I've been able to see things in certain people who have good storytelling abilities. Generally, even if they're not writers now, I feel like could be writers.
What makes a good storyteller?
You have to be engaging and know when not to over describe things, and when you have something that would be a selling point that you need to sell and over describe.
Roger that. Yeah.
Yes.
It's luscious and it's silky and it's smooth.
Exactly. Yeah.
For sure. Very, very interesting. When did you start writing? How did this?
Well, I think.
When did that become a medium for you?
Like, professionally, or just?
Both.
I've always been interested in writing. I used to, when I was a kid, we had a typewriter. I think it was like my either like my mom's or my grandma's. I don't really know. And I used to, like, when I was mad, every once in a while, be like, I'm going to write my book, and like just like. As a kid, I don't know what that. I was like, I'll show you. I'm gonna write I don't know what that was, but no, I think that. And then my parents had me in writing classes, like mostly like poetry things and creative writing as a kid. So you just took to it. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so professionally, when did you jump in?
I got the first thing. My first piece published maybe 4 years ago.
That seems like a short time. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty impressive. 4 years ago, your first piece of published writing to now having your own magazine and curating. I feel like if I
tell you this, it's gonna be even scarier.
Oh shit!
If the first time I was actually on like a contributing list for a publication was about 1.5 years ago.
She's a fraud. That's all there is to it. Either she's a fraud or she's a genius. One of the two. Shit, a year and a half ago. That's 18 months ago. That's not that many days.
No.
I don't do the math, but that's not a lot of days. That's crazy. Where was your first listing as a contributor?
BeatRoute.
Oh, yes. I see how this went. Got you. What was your first article?
I started out doing music reviews.
Sweet.
Concert reviews.
Reviews?
Yeah. So I would sort of get this like big list of shows and choose a show, go to the show for free, and then do a review on what I thought the show was like.
And that got you published?
Yep.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry. I think of when I think of the ability to get published and like get to a certain level, I feel like it has to be some deep, insightful, and thought-provoking, and turning different corners, and just a maze and a grapevine of.
Oh, there was a lot of me applying to magazines.
Yeah.
Like that whole time up until then, I was applying to things like weekly.
Wow.
A lot of silence, and then it's like you get in, and then you start to build a portfolio, and then.
So what's your dream? What's your A-list? I want to write for this mag.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Well, I right now I'm writing for Red Bull and Red Bull Records, which has been super fun. Have lots of stuff planned with them for the following, like,
okay,
the coming months.
Yeah.
A lot of sort of focus pieces on music, particularly in like the Vancouver music scene.
Sweet.
And sort of featuring underdogs in music.
I love it.
Yeah, and they're a super progressive publication, and I love what they stand for. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I've been doing stuff for them. BeatRoute, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm the editor for the Grassifieds column, which is a cannabis and holistic health column.
Hello.
Yes.
Let's talk about weed.
I was just at the Lift Expo this past weekend.
How was that?
It was very good.
Not bad, eh?
Yes. Yeah.
What did it smell like? Just kidding.
There was no
consumption?
No consumption of anything.
What?
No, it was all very professional. A lot of like lighting companies, a lot of seed companies. I talked to the CEO of Mother, which is this Canada's first cannabis nursery. So people in the industry, and I'm pretty sure people with medical licenses can go into their nursery and purchase cannabis plants just like you would at like a regular nursery. They used to sell like mint before. No, for sure. It was very interesting, super informative, and I got to do a few interviews with a few different growers as well. Sweet. Like with 7 Acres and
7 Acres.
Yeah, they're part.
Why does it sound like a winery?
I know, right?
Yeah, 7 Acres is a winery name, but yeah.
They're part of the Supreme Cannabis group, I think.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Badass. I like it. From a writer's perspective, what do you think the narrative of cannabis is, and what's the story of cannabis in the last 4, 5, 6 years as we've kind of like gone out of a gray zone and it's become legal now, and maybe there's less stigma around it? What's the narrative of cannabis today?
I think right now the main issue is all these people who've really been the foundational voices in the cannabis movement are being pushed out. And there seems to be like a clear shift of new people coming in who maybe weren't 100% supportive of the cannabis movement before, but they're now that it's legal,
profitable,
in, and yeah, so that seems to be a huge thing. I spoke with, I guess maybe 3 or 4 months ago, Jody Emery, and we had had a very good long chat about it. I know she's been in the cannabis industry for years, and we talked about her incarceration and
oh my gosh,
it was very very intense. So I've gotten to speak with a lot of like big figureheads in the industry, which has been very eye-opening.
What's their insights on it today? Like, we have a lot of ties, and we'll have Spencer from THC Canada on this podcast in the coming month, hopefully here.
Amazing.
Spencer's awesome. We work with him a lot behind the scenes. Self-Fire Digital does a lot of content and consulting for different cannabis brands, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is not an ad, or it should be.
I think I should probably work with this guy for the column.
I don't know. No, just kidding. But Spencer is one of the guys that has very much played by the rules and done exactly what the legal system and what legislation and what municipal and provincial and federal governments want, in hopes of kind of, being one of the first to actually get a license in BC. I think there's 2 licenses right now for dispensaries. Maybe I'm wrong. Actually, fact check me on that one, Bree. I'm definitely wrong. I know there's a lot of dispensaries open and in the gray zone. How do we get from this spot where, for instance, when I was always told cannabis is illegal, weed is illegal, this is an illegal thing, and now average people are going and buying government product, and there's these people that have had these dispensaries in this gray zone for a couple of years now and have been growing weed, for a long time, and suddenly don't have their hand in on the profits. Is there a story to be told there at all, or?
Well, I think right now, there's huge conversation about how the government and how associated institutions are able to keep that whole cannabis is terrible, and the whole pretty much going off of the war on drugs. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
How they need to justify years and years and years of putting people in prisons
for marijuana.
Yeah, of separating families, of denying children and people who are severely ill medication. So they're now having to justify why they've been doing this, and the tough regulations during legalization are all because of that. Definitely.
Very interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I think at least that's what I've been hearing from people in the industry, and what I've sort of noticed from speaking with people. I think that is super clear with the packaging. I don't know if you've seen the new packaging.
I have not. No, I have no idea.
So at the expos, actually, the first time I saw it in person, I'd seen it online.
Crazy.
So different suppliers have the choice of color. So it's actually more regulated in terms of design than tobacco.
What the heck?
So
Bree, show me some legal weed, please.
Yeah. So it'll be either in blue packaging, yellow packaging, green, I think. I know they were on the fence about a red as well, but I think it might just be those 3.
Okay.
So there's no branding allowed, and there'll be a tiny, tiny logo of whatever company.
Ridiculous.
But the packaging, it's overpackaged. So you have kind of like you would buy Tylenol or something like that. So it's in the plastic, the hard shell case with paper over top of it.
So silly. So such an environmental issue too.
Yeah, it's a huge environmental issue, and it's super okay. Yeah. So as you can see, you have the little plastic container that goes in the paper container, and then depending on how they're shipping it, they might have to shrink wrap it as well.
Unreal.
The other issue is the excise tax, which so that little thing that looks almost like a stamp on cigarettes, it's the excise tax. So
I don't know what that is either.
It's like an excise stamp. It tells you that the tax for the product has been paid for by either the distributor or the company. So you'll see it on cigarettes. It'll have a Canada flag on it.
Okay.
That is actually doesn't come with adhesive, so companies have to manually put on the excise stamp for every single thing.
Wow.
the packages will come. Oh yeah, you can see it. So it's that the thing with the Canada.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that has to be manually stuck on. There's no machines that are compatible with this yet. So you're having big giant rooms of people manually putting glue on and then sticking it onto the paper.
Further driving down profit margins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So the government has really done a good job at deterring companies.
Wow.
And it's like, if you have to have this huge manual physical labor, obviously you have to have a large amount of money. So companies that maybe were more mom and pops, even if they were playing by the rules, they're not going to have the manpower.
They're not going to be able to compete.
No.
God. So they're forming a monopoly.
100%.
We live in a really weird world.
Yeah.
We live in this odd gray space between, I mean, it's Keynesian theory, and, we have socialist, aspects, and we have capitalist aspects, and there's this weird push and pull between the two. And, regardless of which side of the fence that you sit on, you have to agree that there is a capitalist side that will give light to the ability of mom and pop stores to be able to compete in the market, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the whole idea of that would be is if you work hard, you will gain something, and
or you gain a revenue or a market share or something.
Yeah. So that to me is super disheartening.
Mm-hmm. But makes for a great story.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I left that conference with a list of so many stories and so many companies I want to work with.
Mm-hmm. So what's your life like as a writer? Like, what I have no, if you're an insurance broker, I know what your life is like.
Yeah.
If you're a personal trainer, I know what your life is like. I have no fucking clue what your life is like.
I think it's pretty crazy sometimes.
Yeah, I can believe it.
It's very, journalism can be very intense. It's also very last minute. You have to be able to just go. Like, if somebody calls you and they're like, hey, I have a lead on this story. I'd really like you to cover it. Can you be at this place in an hour? Yeah. If it's a good story.
Yes.
Yes, I will be there in an hour. I'm calling the taxi right now. So it's, in that respect, it can be a little bit frustrating. I still have a day job.
What do you do?
I work as a reproduction painter. So I work for an artist and I reproduce his work. It's a very, it's an unusual job.
What?
Yes.
Okay. Fuck, you are so confusing. A lot of people that we have on the podcast, like, I'm able to be like, oh, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from, and then you just hit me with all this like out of left field shit, like, oh, I reproduce hand painted stuff. What does that mean? What? Sorry, excuse me.
I work for I've signed an NDA, so I can't like go into like super,
let's not break any contracts.
Super detail about it.
But on the surface,
I work for an artist. He's like a
no names. Don't worry about it.
Contemporary artist.
Sure. Yep.
And I reproduce his work. So I sit in a studio and I paint, like acrylic paint.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm like a creative person in so many different ways. I've never been able to do just one thing. I
noticed that, which makes you very good for the job. Being a chief editor?
Editor-in-chief, yeah.
Editor-in-chief.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all the same.
Yeah. So let me just get this straight, though. So genius artist sits there and he paints his work, right? Acrylic. You sit beside him and you paint the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna wrap my head around that. That's fucking crazy. Okay. So, and then he markets says, okay, you know what? You don't go into it. You got an NDA. Let's we'll move on here. But that's super wild. So you are incredibly creatively gifted. If you can do that,
math. Oh,
that's fine. You're not a math person. Math is
science. No.
Math is trash. Language, communication, 100%. What do you think about the whole freedom of expression thing, like that with this rise of social media? Everyone now has a voice, and I say everyone can be a writer, not everyone can be a good writer. There's a lot of shitty writers out there, and there's a lot of people with voices that and I don't, this is like not a popular opinion, but maybe shouldn't have voices yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to develop your voice.
I was having a conversation with a friend about the whole Instagram poet.
Oh, I love it.
Thing.
God damn it. Yes.
Which like bothers me so much. Like,
talk about it.
Oh man. Like when you have, I mean, generally they're women who will have like just like a blank, it'll be like a blank square on their Instagram with like a 2-sentence poem, in quotations, poem.
It's a haiku.
It's, I don't know. I don't know what this is. And I know Rupi Kaur started it, and it's not for me.
What's your problem with it? So what? Like, they want to go up and put some words together.
It's like I just don't understand. Like,
it's
I just
art.
Feel like it lacks depth and
substance.
It's become sort of like another form of visual aesthetic that says I am a writer, I'm a poet, without actually having to like dig inside of yourself and like do the work. And
I couldn't agree more. There's a difference between there's two types of people / artists. Like, there's the artist that goes in and finds, creates, manipulates, and then puts passion and emotion on a page or on a canvas or in a sculpture or whatever it may be. Like, again, what's the definition of art? The definition of art is to evoke emotion within other people. There is substance and purpose and intention with that art. And that intention may not even have a direction, but it's still purpose and it's still intention. And then there's that fucking guy that goes on Instagram and takes a picture of, one single plastic green water bottle.
Oh man.
And talks about 3 lines of how the cup is half full or something of that nature.
Like something super cliche.
Like, no. Hold up for a second. You just want fucking attention. That's what you want. You are just trying to craft an identity. Oh, hold up. I see what this is. Someone never picked you in gym class. That's what this is. That's what this is surfacing right now. You just want that attention and that identity that you're lacking. And so you're going to craft that as art. And that's why I have a huge problem with a lot of creatives. I fucking love creatives. Creatives are the best people on this planet. Sorry, nerds, but like, they are. The way they express themselves and see the world and craft perspective and experience into other forms of experience. Like, that is literally alchemy. People don't understand. That's alchemy. You're taking lead.
The best way to describe this is there's a comedian who also has a podcast that I love.
Who's that?
Her name's Amanda Seales.
Seales.
She has a podcast called, I think it's called Small Doses.
Okay.
And she labels herself as a multi-hyphenate, which I totally resonate with. So multi-hyphenate is essentially you are a person who, it shouldn't be confused with a jack of all trades, master of none situation. It's quite the opposite. It's somebody who has sort of a direction of something, like say they have a theme or whatever, and they explore that theme through many different facets. Generally, it would be somebody who I guess, like in her case, she's a comedian, she's also a writer, and she's a visual artist. I think she does something else too.
Multi-hyphenate?
Yeah, so it means you like, generally it's like career.
Did you make that up?
No, I did
I'm
not.
Just kidding.
I mean, I'm just Amanda Seales.
Yeah.
She's
no.
amazing.
Shout out to her. Shout out to her.
Totally.
Yeah.
But she says that there's other things she could add onto her list of things that she feels like she's trying to master.
Yeah.
But those aren't part of the things she does. Those are the things she dabbles in.
So she's not like locking them onto her identity.
Yeah,
like, I'm a painter, I'm a writer.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's sort of like the issue with like the Instagram poets and the Instagram.
You're totally right.
It's like, okay, no, you dabble in that. Like, people, like, I didn't call myself a writer until I had things published for like a year, and I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm a writer. I just changed my Instagram to a business profile, and I'm now calling myself a journalist.
That was a big thing. I saw that.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. I rolled my eyes when I saw it. I'm sorry. That was so silly. And someone...
like, I don't know if I should do this yet because I feel like I'm not... But that's the thing. It's like, I want to be careful. It's like, am I doing this or am I dabbling in this?
Bro.
But now I feel... Now I'm in it, so I can say...
I didn't know anything else other than you. You were avocado toast girl. You were literally the epitome of, like, whatever. I'm done with you. Yes, of course you should fucking be a journalist. Okay, whatever, sorry. Multi-hyphenate, right?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Cool, I'm gonna look into that term.
Like, similar to, like, if you're, like, a multidisciplinary artist, but multi-hyphenate can do things other than art.
Yeah, no, yeah. I really like that Amanda Seales. I'll check her out. I do, like, people always are like, why are you writing things down? I actually, like, this shit is enticing to me. I do take notes. I do follow up on this stuff. Like, that's super cool. Multi-hyphenate. I like that concept a lot because I'm a person that's against ideologies. I think ideologies are pretty dangerous and can be pretty malevolent. And evil in a lot of ways, and that's on a macro. On a micro, you know, for instance, I think in my Instagram bio I say something along the lines of, like, I do stuff and I like things, or like something like that.
Yeah.
Which just totally. Like, dude, I don't know. I'm 22 years old. I have no idea.
Which still blows my mind.
Oh, what do you mean?
That you're 22. It's crazy.
Oh, no. Please. I'm just figuring it out. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just try to hold myself in a way that I won't. I just try to, you know, when you look back to yourself, like yourself at 22, you probably look back at yourself when you're 22 and you're like, did I? So my only goal is just to look at my, you know, future self. So my future self can look back at my present self and be like, yeah, he didn't have it figured out, but at least he wasn't a total idiot.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah, no, totally.
So,
and I feel like people who are okay with the idea of arrival and arriving at their destination, I think, miss out on things in life. There's if you think that you can arrive, then
sorry,
that's the end. When you think you've arrived, that's the end. You know.
When you start, when you get over the hump of ignorance, you know, that's a hard hump to get over, and then you just get to the spot. Being on this podcast taught me so much. You're just like, wow, so many people know so much in such depth about so many topics.
Oh, I know.
And I don't know anything. Or like if I like zoom out, like I'm totally one of those guys that just extrapolates everything. So like if we look, I've been on this earth for 22 years. So I'm born in 96. And literally a year ago, I thought I knew more than half of the humans on this earth. I was like, oh wait, the society's going in this way, but we should really go this way, and I know better for these reasons, which is like so fugazi and false. It's false confidence, right? And so if we extrapolate that out to the larger narrative of I'm here for 22 years, so I think I know more than what humans and civilization have compiled over thousands of years, because I'm just at the furthest edge of time to where we've currently progressed, and I suddenly have this power. Like, no, relax. There's people. You're just at the starting point. Like, you're just like, every day is just the starting point. It's the starting point. It's the starting point. Tomorrow is the starting point. Like, I didn't know anything. I try to, when I sit down with a guest, it's like, you know, I don't know anything at the start of the podcast, and I'll know a little something at the end of the podcast. And hopefully if I just do that over again, then maybe at 60 or 70 or 80 or 100, you know, I'll have some knowledge to pass on to the next guy that's trying to figure the shit out. But I say that to tie it in to say, you're a super young editor-in-chief. Super young.
Oh, yeah, no.
Beyond young.
Generally, I would have to wait till at least 30, maybe 35.
I was thinking like 40, 50. I don't know why I had that in my mind, but I do. And you're
35 would be very young.
That's what yeah. So you're creating narratives at such a young age. Is that a sense of responsibility? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a little bit. It can be a little bit daunting, I think.
Yeah.
Yesterday at our meeting, I kind of sitting down and having people pitch things to you that was very crazy to me.
Probably people that are older than you.
Yeah,
sometimes.
majority of them, definitely. And me kind of like, yeah, that's a really great idea. And then kind of some things in my head, I was thinking, oh no, that's not where, like, just learning when to say yes, when to say no. And even though somebody's older, somebody who's been in the business longer than you doesn't necessarily,
saying no to them.
I know and there's a lot of egos in journalism, and there's a lot of, it's a huge stigma too, because I didn't go to school to be a journalist, and I've done really well so far.
People don't like that.
People really do not like that.
People don't like that at all.
The project I'm working on right now, like I was just working on before I got here, is a project for BBC International, which is really crazy. I did not think that I would be
one of the biggest
writing
publications
for,
in the world.
Yeah, I know it's a 4-part series that should be out in the next few months.
Okay.
But I was talking in a group of fellow journalists, and there were apparently, I don't know, some other people who are also journalists who are part of the like academia section of journalism are not very
what a great group of people.
But I mean, like, the whole art of journalism is being able to have conversation and being able to engage with people for with the pursuit of learning more and having other people learn more about different experiences and highlighting stories that are of value. So
it's not a selfish act.
No, it shouldn't be about the like ivory tower of academia.
Oh, but the tower. The tower is so high and it is so shiny.
Yeah.
Mm.
Definitely.
Okay, so tell me about this BBC thing.
I don't know how much I can talk about, but
whatever you can. I'll take the crumbs.
Okay. So it is a project that is showcasing the Rocky Mountains. So
Sweet.
It's very different from what I usually do, which is generally like music, arts and culture journalism, and like some food stuff.
Amazing.
But yeah, so it's kind of cool because it's international, so I get to talk about...
And a huge publication.
Yeah, and I get to talk about where I'm from and where I've grown up, which is kind of interesting.
How did you stumble into that opportunity?
I was scouted.
Hello. Oh, shit. Damn. There's a big difference there. People don't realize that, man. Like, you can go out and apply a million places and get picked for something, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Super awesome. To be scouted for something, that's big time.
I've only ever gotten journalism gigs from being scouted. Oh, no, that's a lie. I did 2 articles for a publication that I applied for. Everything else has been... Everything that I've, like, tried to apply for and tried to write for hasn't panned out, other than one particular publication.
So how did you get yourself in a position for other writers out there, other writers and other creatives out there? How do you put yourself in a position to actually be scouted? That's huge.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. I think the stuff that I've done with Red Bull got a lot of buzz. Yeah, I did a feature for this band called IMUR. They're super awesome. They just did a tour in India. They've like toured the whole world.
What genre?
They're
What are we talking
R&B.
IMUR. That sounds really
They're
familiar.
super chill and like a really, really great group of people. So yeah, I teamed up with a photographer, a friend of mine, Laura Harvey, who shot for Rolling Stone.
Wow.
She Shreds magazine, like cover pieces she shot for. She's also the in-house photographer for Article, the furniture store.
Article.
Yeah, she's her and another photographer friend, Curdy. They're the 2 photographers for the whole company.
Just name dropping.
They're wicked. They're awesome.
God damn, son.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just super fortunate to be just surrounded by all these really awesome creative people, and we all help each other out. Like, there's definitely kind of this, we've made this group where if the opportunity arises and we can help each other out, we do. And I think that's kind of like a really beautiful thing. It's not about competition. It's about working together. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Still, you put yourself in two turnkey positions, in my opinion. You put yourself in a position to be scouted, and you put yourself in a position to have those other creatives around you and kind of manifest that. And again, the resources that come from that. How did you even get to a situation where you have those type of people around you? You know, like they're everywhere. Your boyfriend's a creative, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Shout out Tyler.
Yes. Hey.
Yeah. As he's editing, it never stops. Contrast is off for sure. Sorry.
I think a lot of it stems from I grew up in New West.
Tyler's sitting in the corner for the listeners that have no clue what just went on. He's giving me shit, and I'm giving him shit right back. Sorry.
No worries. No, I grew up in the suburbs. So I grew up in New West.
Yep.
And like New West now, there's a bit more going on. But when I was there was nothing. So I think anyone who was mildly creative got really creative because that's all you had to do.
The boredom factor.
Yes.
Yep.
So I know like there's lots of bands, lots of directors.
Sweet.
Like even just thinking of people in my like creative circle that I grew up with in high school and stuff who have like are doing really well. Casey Lum. He's a director in the city. He just like he shot a huge like Jarum cigarette ad a little while ago, and
sweet,
which he was a producer for, and like doing videos for people like Felix Cartel. Like
you know how many names I'm writing down right now? It's crazy.
lots of he's a super sweet guy, and then yeah, no, like lots of bands, lots of people seem to be coming from Gavin Matz.
Gavin Matz from New West?
Yeah.
Funny as hell. Gavin, this is the third freaking time we're chopping this up and I'm sending it to him.
Oh, no.
I'm headhunting this guy.
And then who else? Gracie Hughes. Gracie Hughes is on Funny or Die.
What?
Yeah, lots
Gracie
Hughes. Yeah, I think she just moved to California.
Yeah, they all moved to LA right before I want to get on this podcast. They all moved to LA. Gavin, Matz, and Gracie. Seriously.
Yeah. No, there's
a bunch of them.
Gavin did grade 12 with me. I think he was at
what high school?
At Caribou before or something like that. Joey Lopez, who's going to be famous. He went to Caribou.
Right. Yeah, our friend with the famous name. Joey Lopez.
Yeah, no, there's like I could write like a huge list of people, creative people who are doing like super, super well.
So you came up in an environment that cultivated creative people, and
Definitely.
in turn that kind of sharpened and gave stimulated creative juices, and then you all kind of the cream obviously rises to the top. What's your heritage? What do your parents do? How this like? What was the expectation of you? How did you get this gene in you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's the code?
Well, my dad is from Kenya, so I'm half Kenyan. I'm like super, super light-skinned black girl, like very... Yep. I know. My hair is also like very straight right now. If you saw the fro, you'd get it, but...
The most interesting woman in the world. Yeah, okay.
So I think like Kenyan culture is just like super artistic, super creative. Everything's about music, dance. I was put in dance super young. Like I was taking music classes when I was 2 years old, like crazy things like that. So I think my parents threw me into it super young. Yeah, I think it started with music.
Wow.
Definitely. And then writing music and writing poetry. I did slam for a while.
Slam poetry is awesome.
Which I could not do it now.
No?
But
No? Okay, all right.
No, I think it's awesome though. Yeah. And my mom's a Newfoundlander. So I had like the two loudest, like if you ever hear a Kenyan person talk, like, oh my goodness. Like a Newfoundlander and a Kenyan. It's like I had no chance of but on my mom's side, my mom took some journalism classes in university. And she's like a very, I don't know, like she was never a journalist, but both my parents are like quite like investigative. Like if something's going on, they're yeah, totally.
Very interesting. I love the wave that you're on and the direction, and I'm sure that your parents had something to do with it, and nature versus nurture. We can go into the DNA. That's all very interesting, but at the end of the day, I care, but what matters is that you're here now doing what you're doing.
Totally.
That's very much a big proponent of the now. And when we talk about the now, what's going to come out in the next edition of Avocado Toast? What's important to you now? What type of issues are you tackling? What's on like the tip of your mind? What are things that you want to write about and things that you want to put towards the public? Is there anything you can kind of give us a little teaser on?
Yeah, my big project that I'm working on right now is a piece about Hogan's Alley.
Hogan's Alley.
Yes.
Because my man Hogan has an alley? I don't know. I'm from the island. I apologize.
No. It's something that a lot of Vancouverites don't know about. It used to be the Black community that existed on just the edge of Chinatown.
Okay.
And actually going into a little bit of where Chinatown exists now, basically it was like the downtown, the hub for music and arts. There were lots of jazz clubs.
No way.
Yeah, it was a huge center of Vancouver. And a lot of the sort of like more wealthier business people had just invested in the Granville Strip. And there was sort of this divide of where people should be spending their money. Like they didn't want them to be spending their money in the Black community. They wanted to be spending their money in like what was supposed to be downtown and like what the mayor wanted to be downtown.
What the whites wanted to be
yes,
downtown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically where the viaducts now exist just outside of Chinatown are where the Black community was. So, Jimi Hendrix's grandma's house still exists there.
Really?
And yeah, a bunch of big jazz people used to live in the neighborhood, and they were campaigning to build the viaducts over the Black community for a while and said that it was the most viable place to put them, to slow down congestion when there wasn't even really that much congestion for traffic at that time. So what ended up happening is the whole community was bulldozed. Some people didn't. I don't want to be wrong, give you the wrong date.
Again, you have a license to be wrong on this thing.
We're talking like the beginnings of Hollywood, because basically Hollywood wouldn't be as big as it is now had the Black community here not been destroyed.
Wow.
So it's a very big story that people have
never heard about.
Yeah. So so everything was bulldozed. Some people had homes bulldozed with all their things inside with like little to no warning. And then got on the train, and the first stop was Seattle. So that's a huge reason why Seattle has a huge Black community, is because of the viaducts being bulldozed. So I saw like a very small snippet of something years ago. I don't know if it was on like Shaw Public Television, and it was like a 30-second blurb, and I was like, what that's just like, I've never heard of this before. 30 seconds, I feel like it needs more than that. So I got in touch with the Vancouver Archives and started kind of just like digging into what actually happened. And I'm working with a photography friend of mine, Brian Van Wyck, who's from South Africa. He's awesome, super cool. And he's been doing some stuff with Avocado Toast, actually. He did a couple of editorial shoots for the first issue. But he definitely has like a journalistic mind. So
Sweet.
I think it'll be really great.
Good fit.
Yeah, definitely. So
Mm-hmm.
we have an interview planned with somebody who used to live in the community as a child.
Wow.
So that'll be really,
That's
really
amazing.
awesome.
So the placement of this viaduct and the bulldozing in the community, how much of that is strategic economic planning and how much of that is just systemic racism, in your opinion?
I would say most of it is systemic racism.
That's
from what I
crazy.
found. Like, there were many other options that they could have definitely saw through,
See, you
which
know,
is really
yeah.
terrible. Because then when you look at the existing Black community now, where is it? Where does it have a home? It doesn't have
Doesn't have a home.
a home.
That's terrible. You know, it's so hard for me to wrap my mind around because number one, I come from an all-white island
Yeah.
community where racism was just a thing on the TV. And still, I mean, even, you know, being born in the 90s, it was very hard for me to even grasp the concept. And it was just, I was, as much as I was born in an all-white community, it's extremely diverse in terms of like views and acceptance and very alternative,
Totally.
like all the things that we're fighting now, like in terms of like racism or sexism or gender diversity and all these things, where I come from are just societal norms. So it's just like, wait, why are we talking about this? And like, it was a thing where I was like, wait, hold up. Why is this even a discussion? Like, this is not something I had never even thought about this until the media put this in my mind and put this concept of, oh no, we're still fighting it. And it's not to say that it's not real, because it is.
Totally.
Right? It's 100% real, but I wasn't even aware of it in such a way. And then that media starts to form a narrative in my mind, right? Which then I have to break through experiences. Now, these
Totally.
experiences are super tough to get. It's, how do I experience racism as a white male? It's very hard. It's very hard. And how do I learn to contextualize the racism that my race puts onto other races? Now, through this podcast and through, you know, basketball and different ways I've been able to do that. I had an experience in Haiti. We go down to Haiti once every year, once every 2 years. My uncle has an orphanage down there, whatever. I went down there for the first time in 2016, and we would ride on the back of these taps, these like public, you know, like buses essentially, just like trucks with tons of people on them, try to get to town. And we would do that because we didn't want to hire a private vehicle because that costs money, and then that's donated money that we're using on transportation, yada, whatever. The point is, we're on the back of these tuk-tuks, and you don't want to go inside of them because like you get pickpocketed, and you don't want to go in the middle because it's too crowded and sweaty, and so you have to go on the top. You don't want to go on the top because if you go on the top, you'll go down the street in the community, and everyone on the side of the community will go like blanc, 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 meaning white, like, yo, mom, because they've never seen a white person, right?
Yeah.
And so that was and we get stuff thrown at us and whatnot because we're either Christian missionaries, which I'm not, or slave owners, because that was not that long ago in Haiti.
Yeah.
And that was the first time where I was like, oh. Like, I wasn't mad. I was just like, oh, no, I get it. Like, I get it.
Oh, totally.
I get it. I was like, oh, this is what hatred feels like. Because it's like deep-rooted hatred. Now it's in verse, and I'm like, fuck, I can't even be mad at you. Like,
yeah, totally.
But it was the first time I ever had any experience like that at all. And because of that experience, I can put everything else in context. But the problem and the reason why I even tell that story is that most people consuming media don't have context, and that media is providing context,
Totally.
which oftentimes is a false narrative, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but so many publications are left-leaning or right-leaning. That where's the publication that's just a publication?
And just houses many different voices.
Exactly. Does that exist? I don't know.
No, it's tricky for sure. I think I may have like a little bit of a unique experience like growing up with a Black dad and a white mom, because I've seen both sides of the situation. Like me being like, I get like super dark in the summer, but like usually I'm like pretty like light skin.
You're a little pasty.
Yeah,
You're a little
exactly.
Pasty. Yeah.
No, but like going places with my dad's super dark, like, and just seeing how people react differently like with my dad than people would react differently with my mom. Like as a young kid, I was like made very aware of the situation for sure.
Yeah,
people
but most
always
people don't
thinking
have that.
we're adopted.
Oh my gosh.
Like, doesn't matter what parent you're with, you definitely have to be adopted. Like, just things like that.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, now it's super common to be mixed, but it wasn't like super, super common like 20 years ago.
When you were a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. We need it. Like I'm definitely a left-leaning guy. But you know, I'm not anything actually. Let me rephrase that. I'm not anything. I just have views, and some of them are on the right, some are on the left. I don't give a damn.
Totally.
That whole thing is weird. I don't like putting people in boxes, or again, ideologies are stupid. I don't like it. They don't serve purpose. Well, they do serve a purpose. That's a lie. I don't think they serve a good purpose. I want to talk to you a little bit about how, just going back to the context, and people don't have context, people don't have experience. And I think that publications have to abide to certain ethical standards, if you will, and they don't necessarily. And that's why I will always gravitate towards smaller publications and smaller organizations over larger ones, because agendas become prevalent. I was just hoping you could speak on that a little bit in terms of, you know, if you do get to a point where you become a larger publication, how are you going to not have an agenda?
Well, I think that's impossible. Like, I mean, I do have
You have an agenda.
I do have things that I want to cover and things that I don't want to cover.
But you have an agenda that I like, damn it. Sorry.
I feel like it's impossible. I think the best way to know if you stand for a publication's ethics would be to look at the editor-in-chief, because the editor-in-chief is essentially, if you think of it as like an art gallery. Yes, the artist has created all the work, but who has put the work together in that way? The curator. So the editor-in-chief is essentially the curator of words. So they're going to go through every single person's articles, the editor's work. They're talking with the creative directors. Everything is being funneled through their vision. So while you have lots of different contributors, lots of different editors, you have different companies, different campaigns, it's still really going through their vision. So I think that's a really great way to like figure out what publications you want to support. There's a lot of situations in the publication industry where there's some pretty bad editors.
I was like, is she gonna tiptoe around? Is she gonna tiptoe around? Nope, she went for it.
No, I mean, I've also had experiences being like a contributing writer. I've had actually an experience quite recently. I'm not going to call out the publication.
Okay.
But
I mean, if you want to. A
particular editor-in-chief has been very vocal on social media about really wanting to give young women and people of color a chance in journalism, because those are the two kinds of people that generally don't get opportunity.
Yeah.
It's still very male-dominated, very like white male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
And then I was brought on to the publication. I wrote a few articles with them, and then I started kind of getting some like really nasty emails from the editor-in-chief that were kind of like verging on like verbally abusive emails.
Oh my gosh.
Not very nice things. And then, but there were like social media announcements that I was writing for them and things like that. So it was like, you kind of start to think, okay, am I being used for the social media points? Because behind closed doors, I'm not being treated with the respect or dignity that I deserve. I mean, me personally, as an editor and as an editor-in-chief, I wouldn't, like, I don't care if this is your first day writing or you've been writing for 20 years. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect. So I think,
as a human.
Yeah. And I think like, there's a lot of things that are kind of trendy to say.
Oh, completely. Yes, absolutely.
And that is definitely in journalism one of them, like having people of color on your team, having women on your team, having young people on your team. So I think it's maybe the reader's job and other contributors' job to sort of dig into who the editor-in-chief is or who their editors are, who's leading the publication, because that kind of is, that's where the ethics start.
Totally. I like that. I like a lot that you're putting the onus on the reader itself.
Yeah,
him
totally.
or herself, right? That's
because you're consuming something,
and you form the market, and these publications and these businesses go towards the market. The market is the market. It's very hard to change the market. You have to adapt to the market, and if you can craft the market in a right way, in a just way, in a fair way, then you're doing your part. I love the angle you crafted there. That's beautiful. Yeah, it's amazing.
And instead of like us using that situation as an opportunity to call out the editor, we decided instead to put a call out for submissions.
Totally.
Because it was like, okay, we could call out this person, this publication, or we could just maybe take in some people who are dealing with this person.
Rather than call out the problem, you're creating a solution.
Yeah, I think that's better.
It's way better. It's way better. Okay, we got to wrap this up here, but let me tell you let me ask, where can we go to? Where can we follow you? Plug. Okay, the stage is yours.
avocadotoast.co for Instagram. We're actually eventually going to be a publishing company.
Oh.
So we're registered. Yes. Registered as Avocado Toast Company, which will be the publishing house. Avocado Toast Post resides within the publishing house.
Gotcha.
My personal Instagram is JM Pomeroy.
Cool.
Yeah.
When is the next issue coming out?
Well, our cut deadline is March 15th, so I would say somewhere at the end of April. We don't have an exact date, but it'll be the end of April, beginning of May for sure.
Beautiful.
Yes,
beautiful.
Definitely.
I can't wait to add it to my coffee table.
Yay.
I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Listeners, thanks so much, and until next time, that's a wrap.